the best is UK Talk Radio.
A warm welcome to UK Talk Radio. It's Jonathan Hines with you, and today I've got a very interesting guest, singer-songwriter Mike Andros Zaeus, who's a Greek but British-born singer-songwriter. Welcome to UK Talk Radio, Mike.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. It's great to be here.
Tell us a bit about that name, Mike Andros Zaeus.
Well, it came way back in 1987. I was working at the Chewton Glen Hotel at the time, and that was one of these big posh hotels in the New Milton area. And I came out with these words one evening, and Mike was just quite straightforward because my middle name was Michael. Andros was named after an island in Greece, which is obviously Greek for Andrew. And Zaeus was something that totally came out the top of my head. And really the rest is history, I suppose. Yeah.
It's a good old expression, that, isn't it? The rest is history.
Yeah, I think it's a good one, actually. I like that.
Now, you've got a huge portfolio of productions, songs that you've written and recorded right from the late 80s up to the early 2000s, up to about 2001.
Yeah, as a lyric writer, I mean, I did sing and write as a child, though none of them are actually recorded as such. But as officially Mike Andros Zaeus, I started writing songs from then, round 86, 87, and continued certainly into about 2000 onwards. 96 was probably the last big year of my lyric writing, but vocally in the studio about 2001, 2002 sort of thing.
Right, absolutely. And you've got a very unique falsetto, high-pitched voice, which I very much enjoy listening to. Have you been called falsetto before, or is that, or do you describe your genre and your voice in a different way?
Yeah, I think there's realistic approaches in that outlook, certainly. I can do sopranic voices and falsettos. I've been able to hit some quite unusual chords in my day. And even now it's sort of coming back to me more.
You can camp it up a bit, can't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would say so. I would certainly say so, yeah.
So the genre is pop rock. Some of the themes are quite unusual. People can find out more about you on SoundCloud. SoundCloud, Mike Andros Zaeus. That's Andros, Andros, Zaeus, Zaeus. That's Mike Andros Zaeus on SoundCloud. On YouTube, and of course Bandcamp. Your material now is available for purchase on Bandcamp, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's quite nice at the moment because I seem to be getting quite a lot of visualizations from people, so it's very, very positive. It's good steps in the right direction, and I'm certainly enjoying the commercial success of the internet at the moment. YouTube is positive.
Yeah, and some interesting. I mean, you're very interested in astronomy, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I even wrote and recorded a song of that title, so that's quite an interesting coincidence. And some of the lyrics in there, it's almost a bit like the Revelation chapters in the Bible, and that. And when you look into the depth of it, there's a lot of fascination in it. So yeah, I like that sort of thing.
When did you realistically, put a song together, write any lyrics? When was the first time you really seriously did put together a piece of music? How old were you? What year are we talking?
Well, I can remember roughly in about the mid-70s, and even the tad before that, I was coming out with these musical ideas as a very small kid, and I realised it was something I wanted to do. So it goes back way, a long, long time.
And intriguing titles, like there's one song, one of your what's the word? One of your signature songs is Frightening.
Yes. I'm looking forward to getting that put down. I think it goes without saying, realistically, I was quite influenced by the Thriller record, obviously Michael Jackson did years ago. And I wanted to do something that had kind of a similarity, not directly a pirate copy, but obviously something that was sort of in a similar influence and idea of it. Bit of fun at the end of the day, yeah.
And I mean, your voice is quite versatile. Not only can you do falsetto, but you do a lot of impersonations. There's a very much a comedic bent to you as well. Now, have we got any comedic songs so far, or are all the songs so far that you've done more of a serious tone?
Generally, at the moment, they tend to be more serious, but I think there's going to come a point where I might do a few comical tracks, a bit of humour that would make somebody laugh. And I've got a few ideas in my head, but I'm not saying too much at the moment about them.
Right, and how many tracks have you got available for people to listen to now? How many have you actually produced, between about the late 80s and 2001, which recently you've put out there to the public? This is something you've wanted to do for a long time, isn't it? And you've just had other things going on, the usual, family, work. But how many tracks potentially are there altogether for people to listen to? How many have you done over the years?
When we're a little bit further ahead, there's roughly about 50 songs that were actually recorded, something in that figure. But there were many, many hundreds of songs I actually wrote that we never got time to record in the end, which was a bit frustrating for me because there were so many more I did want to do. And in the early 90s, that's when the recording sessions were starting to sort of warm up. But in the late 80s, there was a lot of lyric writing going on. But Mike Andros Zaeus became a symbol, as it were, way back in 87. So here we are, sort of about 28 years later, and we're suddenly getting a little bit of recognition now. But ideally, things that are going on now would have obviously been happening more than 20 years ago. Yeah. Time's
going so quickly. It seems to be going faster and faster, doesn't it? Now, a big shout out to all our listeners in the Southampton area. Mike Andros Zaeus, you're currently in the Southampton area, but you spent many years in Bournemouth, and that's where we met, isn't it, in Bournemouth? Sunny Bournemouth. Well, actually, it's not sunny most of the time, is it?
No, it's a little bit chilly today, actually, but the sun is definitely getting a lot higher up, and the shadows you can see at midday are getting much shorter, which is nice. But it did feel a bit chilly. Here we are on the 1st of June, and it did feel a bit cold, and this time of year it should be almost sweltering, really.
Yeah, 1st of June already, 2015. Now, we're going to hear No Turning Back now, and this is one of my personal favourites. I do love this one. Now, tell me a little bit about No Turning Back and when you actually recorded this song that we're about to hear here on UK Talk Radio in a moment.
This was recorded in August 95, and I was working with a guy I knew called Pete, who was a brilliant sound engineer. We had a lot of fun working together and it was one of the early songs I did with him.
Mike Andros Zaeus and No Turning Back now on UK Talk Radio. Back with you again very shortly, Mike.
every time